Happy rails to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy rails to you. It's good to see you again. Happy rails to you. Please keep watching in. Hello, everybody. This is G-Man, and welcome back. Well, this is going to be part 3, the completion of that 484 Marx Canadian Pacific engine that we're putting together mostly out of other used parts and custom-made parts. I think in the last episode, I had shown you, or I was going to show you, the handrails that I made. And it's not, of course, exactly like, formed exactly like the one on the Canadian Pacifics, the original made by the manufacturer, but it's similar. The one that Marx made originally, I just want to point it out, comes to the end of the boiler front, then goes down and then makes a circle just inside of the boiler. Mine comes down the side a little further back than the edge of the boiler, and then comes down and circles around just the above the bottom of the boiler. And then it also, I don't know whether you can tell it or not. Let's see if I can do a close-up. It also, get more light on it, extends out across the front of the lower half of the boiler. So it comes down and then circles out this way and around the boiler front, which I like the original, the way it looks, but for all intents and purposes, I actually like mine just as well. It's makes it a little different. Okay, so we had 3 things that we were yet missing to really complete this engine. One was the scones, or the clearance lights, the headlight, and sorry about that, the rails. We've got the rails on. The body's been touched up. And I have here what I'm going to use for a headlight rim and for rails. I'd like you to be able to see of the many things that you can use that's available to you at home outside of the manufactured items that you can use and make it your own little custom work, and it will still turn out nice and look good. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is what I'm using today for the clearance lights. Now, I use many different types of materials, so I don't always use the same thing, but these are really invaluable for more than one purpose. These are called crimp connectors. They're brass connectors or brass sleeves. They say they're actually steel, but they're brass colored. You get 12 of these, and they're less than $2. You can pick those up at a hardware store, Home Depot, Menards, Eagle Hardware, if they're still around, True Value, anywhere where they sell washers and electrical fittings and screws, etc. These are made by Everbuilt, and I'm not recommending necessarily the brand. I'm not being paid for any sponsorship, but I say that because most of the ones that I have found have always been this brand. Now, I'm sure there are other brands out there, but if you can't remember anything else, I thought maybe the brand might stick in your mind. These are called finishing washers. And they're decorative, classified. Let me show you what they look like. Out of the package. And so we're going to use this for our headlight rim. Now, the only problem with this is there's no good way to attach it. In other words, what I'm saying, it doesn't have prongs or anything like that. And there are other things out there that do. But when I went the other day to look for something and pick these up, I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for. And I didn't have time to spend 2 or 3 hours in there looking. So this is what I came up with. You might find something different. But we're going to use that for the headlight. Matter of fact, I've already got one set up over here. Hope you can see that. And there it is. And I've got my headlight set in it already. And of course, what I'm using for a headlight on this, these are self-sticking, but I also used an adhesive, and I will be using another adhesive. Well, actually, my hot glue gun is probably what I'm going to use on this one to attach it to the boiler. Why? Because the hot glue will spread out and it will go through these slots on there where those clips should be. And I can spread it out and it won't pop back out. And of course, what I used for the headlight is the old trusty self-adhesive clear bumpers. They come 3, 4, and 5 sizes in a pack. And as I've said before in previous videos, you can pick these up like any of these other items at a hardware store. These you might even be pick up in a grocery store in their little hardware department. Okay. This is what those crimp sleeves or connecting sleeves look like. Kind of like a 22 shell casing. They're hollow all the way through. And you take these, what I've done, and I took a pair of pliers and I crimped them. And you don't crimp them too far. You don't crimp them to where they go completely flat. You don't want that. You just crimp them far enough that you can have a two sides, a narrow side on the top, on the bottom, and then a wide side on the top, like that. Show you the other one. It's the same way. And what I did with these was I put these in a clamp or a vice clamp, and held them tight here at the bottom, and then took a nail. This is about a number 8. And I put this nail and then drove it down in there about halfway. With this bottom, keep in mind, still being clamped, held closed. And that gave me my round portion. Now I've got two choices with this. I can put some clear glue down in there and let it dry, or I can use hot glue and use that for my lens. Now, if I had today some other glue besides my old trusty testers or my cement, which is almost like a rubber cement, it's household cement, and it will eventually maybe dry clear. It will stay in place better than the testers. The testers does have a tendency to run downhill for about 20-30 seconds, and that's long enough that your glue won't stay in place. Now you can stuff something down in and put your glue down in there, and that'll hold your glue up in place, but that defeats the purpose, because then won't any light come through it at all. Now, I must admit, not a lot of light is going to come through these. But we do that and then take a marker or highlighter and paint them green, and you'll be surprised what they'll look like. Okay, so rather than to wait, put these on, and then come back and do them black, I'm going to go ahead and do these in black and plug my hot glue gun up and let it warm up. And I'll be right back. Okay. We're back. So I'm going to take my tweezers. Once again, I'm going to use my black marker. Now I have black paint, guys. I've got it in spray paint and I have it in brush. But I found a black marker is much quicker. For something like this. And I think I'm going to do this rim black also. Try to turn it in an angle so you can see it. Pretty quick and painless. And with that, you're done. About 10 seconds or so, we'll be able to pick that back up and use it. While that's getting ready, we're going to go back over here and get 2 small pieces of this cutting wire. This is what I use to make the cotter pins for the handrails on this engine. And it's what I've used at times and other times on other engines for handrails and for cotter pins. Our hot glue is about ready to work with also. Now the reason why I'm getting this, I'm going to cut 2 pieces out of this. So I'm thinking what I want to do is make 2 pins about that long. And these will use to make hold the clearance lights in place. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. once we start that process. There's other ways you can do it too. You could drill holes in your bottom side of your clearance lights. Just drill a real small hole in there and put a pin through it. But since we already have our holes in the bottom side of this, once we get it in place, I'm just going to turn it over, hopefully, and slide that through it. And that should keep it in place. And of course, we'll probably glue or hot glue it also to hold it. Now, I haven't tried this yet, so it might not work like I would really want it to. But that is the plan. Okay. I'm going to squeeze this one together a little bit more. And every time I pick these things up, I drop them. So bear with me. I'm all thumbs today. So we're going to work on these clearance lights first. First of all, I'm going to match that up with that. And squeeze some glue into it. Yep. Like that. Now, I would advise you probably use your tweezers because the hot glue is really hot and this metal will get hot if you're holding it in your hand. Now you'll see with these that they have a flared side and a smooth side. Okay, when you crimp them and you put your lights in your shell, you want to put the flare side to the rear. You can see that, to the rear. Why? Because that gives it more the look that it needs once you place it into the hole. Okay, we've got our hot glue in this one. And we've already got it done in the black. We might have to tape it up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, I've just decided this. I'm going to go ahead and put a little hot glue around the outside of it real quick. Just right on that bottom surface. Man, that's hot. push it down in there. Take off that extra glue. And I just did that so that give it a little more width at the bottom. I actually gave it too much width. And not enough sticky witness. There we go. Took off some of my black, but that's okay. All right. We'll put it back in again. There we go. Glue's messing with me. Go ahead and put some of this in too. Okay, we do the same thing with this one. Again, don't be like me. Use your tweezers. I burn my fingers all the time. Or if you've got a real good thick glue, which I usually have, but I don't, I'm out. I usually have 2 or 3 different types of glues that I use. And that gets them down in place like that. And there you have your clearance lights. Now, we're not finished yet, so. And we got a little glue string on there. I have to clean up. We'll clean that up when we get done. Now we'll hold those in place like this. And then what I had said was, I was thinking my original plan was to take these and stick them through the bottom side of those scones that we just made. But instead, what we're going to do is, now I have to adjust the camera so you can see it. What we're going to do is, we're going to take our hot glue gun, and we're going to go down to each scone and just put some hot glue around it. Don't put a lot, then you got big globs of it down in there and you don't want it. Okay, so we've got those scones in there, and don't know whether you can see it or not. But we put the glue down in. Don't have my light in. Yeah, too dark down in there. But anyway, the scones are in place and they're done. Look pretty good. I'm going to take my green marker and I'm going to touch these scones up with this green marker on the ends. Coloring the hot glue that we put inside the scones. Also going to color this down in here that we used to hold the scones in place, because they will be reflecting light, a little light, through the scones. That looks pretty good. Okay, next we're going to put the light on. If I can pick up the front lamp. There it is again. What I'm going to attempt to do is put some hot glue around on the inside of the rim of this light. and put it there, there, a little bit on the bottom, and a little bit on the top. And try not to get it on the lens itself, although it is clear and it will reflect. The only thing is that it will make the lens too thick. If I get it on the lens, now as I said, if you have one of the other standard glues we all use for hobbies, you can use epoxy, Gorilla Glue. I think it's called E5000, something like that. Then you can use that. I am completely all out of those other glues. There's only a couple of those other ones that I actually use. And I haven't tried Gorilla Glue recently. I tried it when it first came out and didn't like working with it. They tell me that it's been reformulated now and that it's different. It still looks the same to me in the bottle, but they say it's different. So if any of you have tried it and you've had good luck with it, drop me a comment down in the comment box of this video and let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you on how you like the holding of that glue. And of course, I might give it another try. Okay, I keep putting it on and then moving it around, and I should let it set a little bit first. But anyway. There it is. And what I'm going to do, if I can get down in there that far, get it centered properly. Oh, let me take it back off. So I see there's some glue that got across, and I don't want it across the lens. Okay. Let's try setting it on there again. Trying to pick off some of that extra. Okay. still got a little bit that folded back up across the lens, but it's going to be all right. Move that out of the way. Oh yeah. And we'll take a little bit and put in one corner. Now you notice these have 2 slots, one on each side of the light lens. You just want to shoot some glue down into those so that it goes down into the rim of the light. Spread it out a little bit. Put a little more on this side. If I can. Without getting messy. There we go. And again, we'll have to clean up the glue threads. And then we peeled a little paint right here, whether you can see it or not. But other than that, we clean it up, and it's done. Let me clean it up. All right. Well, we got that in place. It's solid. And our motor is done. We've got our drive rods on, our new light bulb in. It's been cleaned and oiled. Let's see if we can put it back together. We can get that light bulb in there. There we go.
Trump and America's dream, really.
It does, yeah. And there it is. Now this is going to be a New York Central Canadian Pacific engine. And so it's going to stay in 040. And it'll have the black tender with the gray stripe and lettering. Okay, we got the test track up. Let's see what happens. I don't know whether you can see the clearance lights on it or not, but they are lighting up a little bit. And anyway, there we have it. A rebuilt from junk Canadian Pacific 494, put together with parts. That's my video for today, to finish the completion of this video. As I always say, if you enjoy working on your trains, working on your layout, customizing your trains, or just having fun with your railroad, then you should have happy rails. This is G-Man. Bye for now.